Question 1. Policy structure and provisions. A property insurance policy includes a coinsurance clause with an 80% requirement. A property valued at $500,000 sustains $200,000 in damages. The insured carries $300,000 in coverage. What amount will the insurer pay, assuming the deductible is $5,000? A. $145,000. B. $150,000. C. $155,000. D. $160,000. Answer B. $150,000. Explanation. The coinsurance clause requires the insured to carry at least 80% of the property's value in insurance. In this case, 80% of $500,000 is $400,000. Since the insured only has $300,000, they are underinsured and must share part of the loss. The formula for the coinsurance penalty is amount payable by insurer equals insurance carried insurance required x loss. Deductible is $300,000 for $100,000 x $200,000. 5 this is equals 0.75 x $200,000. 5 this is equals $150,000. The insurer will pay $150,000 after applying the coinsurance penalty and deductible. Coinsurance clauses help ensure policyholders maintain sufficient coverage, penalizing underinsurance by reducing payout proportionally when the coverage requirement isn't met. Question 2. Claims process and procedures scenario-based. James, an adjuster in Missouri, is handling a complex claim involving a business owner whose property was damaged in a fire. During his investigation, he discovers that a key witness provided conflicting accounts of the event. The business owner pressures James to settle the claim quickly as his business operations are on hold. What should James do to uphold ethical standards and ensure compliance with Missouri claims handling regulations? A. Expedite the claim based on the business owner's request to avoid prolonged disruption even if the investigation is incomplete. B. Inform the business owner that he needs to verify the witness's statements to resolve the conflict, which may delay the claim process. C. Adjust the claim solely based on the initial statement from the witness, as any conflicting statements should not impact the decision. D. Deny the claim outright due to the conflicting witness accounts and inform the business owner that there will be no payout. Answer B. Explanation. According to Missouri's Unfair Claims Practices Act and ethical standards, an adjuster must perform a thorough investigation and ensure that all information is accurate before finalizing a claim. Expediency should not come at the cost of accuracy. James must validate the conflicting witness accounts even if it delays the claim to avoid potential errors or disputes later. Missouri insurance laws mandate that claims must be handled fairly, promptly, and transparently with all information properly corroborated. Ignoring conflicting evidence or settling prematurely could violate ethical standards and state regulations, potentially leading to disciplinary action against James. Question 3. Ethics and professional conduct. During the claims process, an adjuster receives a gift from an insured client as a thank you for expedited claim handling. According to Missouri's ethical standards for adjusters, what should the adjuster do? A. Accept the gift as long as it does not influence the handling of any future claims. B. Politely decline the gift to avoid any appearance of impropriety or conflict of interest. C. Accept the gift but inform the client that future claims cannot be expedited due to the gift. D. Report the gift to the Missouri Department of Insurance and await further instruction. Answer B. Explanation. Missouri ethical guidelines for insurance adjusters stress impartiality and the avoidance of any conflicts of interest. Accepting gifts from clients could create an impression of favoritism or improper conduct even if it doesn't directly influence claim outcomes. Adjusters are encouraged to decline any gifts to maintain professional integrity and uphold public trust in their objectivity. Accepting gifts could be interpreted as a violation of ethical standards and could potentially lead to disciplinary action. Question 4. Missouri insurance laws and regulations. An insurance adjuster in Missouri fails to comply with the Unfair Claims Practices Act by delaying a claim payment without a valid reason. Which of the following is a potential consequence the adjuster may face under Missouri state law? A. Suspension or revocation of the adjuster's license. B. Immediate dismissal from employment by the insurance company. C. Mandatory reimbursement of the claim amount out of the adjuster's personal funds. D. Reassignment of the adjuster to another department within the company. Answer A. Suspension or revocation of the adjuster's license. Explanation. Under Missouri law, Adjusters must adhere to the standards set by the Unfair Claims Practices Act, which outlines requirements for prompt, fair, and equitable claim handling. Violating these regulations, such as delaying claim payments without just cause, may lead to penalties from the Missouri Department of Insurance. These penalties can include fines, license suspension, or revocation, depending on the severity and frequency of violations. The Act is designed to protect policyholders and ensure accountability in the claims process. Question 5. Personal auto policy in Missouri. In Missouri, an insured has a personal auto policy (PAP) with coverage for liability and uninsured motorist protection if the insured is involved in an accident with an uninsured driver and suffers bodily injury, which coverage in their PAP will be applied. A. Collision coverage. B. Liability coverage. C. Uninsured motorist coverage. D. Comprehensive coverage. Answer: C. Uninsured motorist coverage. Explanation: in Missouri, uninsured motorist coverage is required and specifically protects the insured against damages and bodily injuries caused by drivers without insurance. This coverage is distinct from liability coverage, which applies to damages the insured causes to others, and from collision and comprehensive coverage, which cover physical damage to the insured's own vehicle. Missouri law mandates coverage as part of the PAP to ensure that insured parties are protected in situations where the other driver cannot pay for injuries caused. Question 6. Commercial property coverage. A business property in Missouri is covered by a commercial property policy with a business income and extra expense endorsement. After a fire, the property is unusable for 6 months. Which of the following would be covered under the business income and extra expense endorsement? A. Lost business income during the period of restoration. B. Cost of new equipment to replace the damaged items. C. Salary of employees beyond the policy restoration period. D. Legal expenses for potential lawsuits related to the fire. Answer: A. Lost business income during the period of restoration. Explanation: the business income and extra expense endorsement in a commercial property policy covers the insured's lost income and additional operating expenses that are necessary to resume normal operations during the period of restoration. This coverage helps the business sustain itself while repairs or rebuilding occurs, covering items such as lost revenue and additional expenses, e.g., renting a temporary workspace. However, it does not cover expenses like purchasing new equipment or costs beyond the restoration period. Legal expenses and salaries not related to restoration are also not included under this endorsement. Question 7. Workers' compensation in Missouri. A Missouri worker suffers an injury on the job that results in a partial disability, allowing them to work only part-time during recovery. How will the workers' benefits be calculated under Missouri workers' compensation law? A. They will receive 100% of their previous full-time wages until they can work full-time again. B. They will receive partial disability benefits based on the difference between their previous wages and current part-time wages. C. They will receive a lump sum based on estimated recovery time and potential earnings lost. D. They will not receive any benefits as they are still able to work part-time. Answer: B. They will receive partial disability benefits based on the difference between their previous wages and current part-time wages. Explanation: Missouri workers' compensation law provides for partial disability benefits when an employee sustains an injury that reduces their ability to work full-time. These benefits are calculated based on the difference between the worker's average weekly wage before the injury and the wage they earn while working part-time. This ensures that the worker receives compensation for lost earning potential due to the disability, supporting their financial stability during the recovery period. Question 8. Property insurance. An insured's home in Missouri sustains damage from a burst water pipe, resulting in significant water damage to the floors and walls. Under a typical homeowner's insurance policy, with the sudden and accidental water damage caused, how would this claim most likely be handled? A. The claim will be denied, as water damage is not covered under homeowners insurance policies in Missouri. B. The claim will be covered, as sudden and accidental water damage is generally included in standard homeowners insurance policies. C. The claim will only be partially covered, with limitations on water damage coverage. D. The claim will be covered only if a separate flood insurance policy is in place. Answer: B. The claim will be covered, as sudden and accidental water damage is generally included in standard homeowners insurance policies. Explanation: Homeowners insurance policies typically cover water damage caused by sudden and accidental incidents, such as burst pipes, because this damage is unexpected and not due to maintenance issues. However, water damage from external flooding is excluded and requires separate flood insurance. In this case, the burst pipe qualifies under the sudden and accidental cause, so the damage to floors and walls would generally be covered. Question 9. Adjusting losses and valuation methods. An insured building in Missouri has an actual cash value (CV) of $200,000 and a replacement cost value (CV) of $250,000. If a partial loss of $50,000 occurs and the policy is written on an ACV basis with no coinsurance clause, what will the adjuster pay, assuming a deductible of $2,000? A. $48,000. B. $50,000. C. $52,000. D. $46,000. Answer A. $48,000. Explanation. Since the policy is written on an ACV basis, the adjuster will pay for the loss minus the deductible. Therefore, the calculation is claim payment loss amount deductible equals $50,000. 2 is equals to 8,000. ACV policies account for depreciation and generally result in lower payouts than RCV policies. The lack of a coinsurance clause here means the insured does not face any additional penalties. Question 10. Ethics and professional conduct. An adjuster in Missouri realizes they have mistakenly overpaid a claimant due to a miscalculation in the claim amount. What is the most appropriate action for the adjuster to take under Missouri's ethical standards? A. Inform the claimant and request a reimbursement for the overpaid amount. B. Do nothing as the error is in the claimant's favor and unlikely to be challenged. C. Report the overpayment to the insurer and document the error, allowing the insurer to determine the next steps. D. Withhold the overpayment amount from future claims for the same claimant. Answer C. Report the overpayment to the insurer and document the error, allowing the insurer to determine the next steps. Explanation. Missouri's ethical guidelines require adjusters to maintain transparency and accuracy in claim handling. Upon realizing an overpayment, the adjuster must report it to the insurer, documenting the error for the official record. The insurer will then decide the appropriate corrective action. It is inappropriate for the adjuster to ignore the error or independently request reimbursement, as doing so could violate ethical standards and potentially impact the insurer's relationship with the claimant. Question 11. Homeowners policy. Liability coverage. An insured homeowner in Missouri accidentally causes water damage to a neighbor's property by leaving the garden hose running overnight. Which part of the homeowner's insurance policy would likely respond to the neighbor's claim for property damage? A. Dwelling coverage. B. Personal liability coverage. C. Medical payments coverage. D. Loss of use coverage. Answer B. Personal liability coverage. Explanation. Personal liability coverage in a homeowner's insurance policy provides protection when the insured is legally responsible for property damage to others. Since the water damage to the neighbor's property was caused by the insured's negligence, this coverage would likely apply. Dwelling coverage and loss of use are not relevant here, and medical payments would only apply if there were injuries. Question 12. Commercial General Liability CGL policy. In Missouri, a business has a commercial general liability CGL policy with products and completed operations coverage. A customer becomes ill after consuming a product sold by the business. What aspect of the CGL policy would handle the customer's claim for bodily injury? A. Personal and advertising injury liability. B. Products and completed operations. C. Property damage liability. D. Medical payments coverage. Answer B. Products and completed operations. Explanation. The products and completed operations coverage within a CGL policy addresses claims for bodily injury or property damage resulting from the insured's products or completed services. Since the customer's illness stems from a product the business sold, this coverage would apply. Property damage and advertising injury coverage are unrelated in this context. Question 13. Workers' compensation and employer liability. An employee in Missouri is injured while performing work-related tasks. Under Missouri workers' compensation laws, which of the following would not be covered? A. Medical treatment for the injury. B. Temporary partial disability payments. C. Permanent total disability benefits. D. Compensation for pain and suffering. Answer D. Compensation for pain and suffering. Explanation. Missouri workers' compensation laws provide benefits for medical treatment, temporary or permanent disabilities, and lost wages, but they do not cover pain and suffering. This type of compensation is generally excluded from workers' compensation as it focuses on direct financial losses related to work-related injuries. Question 14. Claims investigation and documentation. A Missouri adjuster is investigating a property damage claim following a severe storm. Which of the following actions would be considered best practice during the investigation? A. Rely solely on photos provided by the insured. B. Visit the damaged property to inspect and document all visible damage. C. Ignore minor damages if they do not impact the overall claim amount. D. Delegate the entire investigation to a third-party contractor without oversight. Answer: B. Visit the damaged property to inspect and document all visible damage. Explanation: best practices for adjusters include conducting a thorough inspection of the damaged property to accurately document the damage. Relying only on photos or ignoring certain damages can lead to inaccurate claim settlements. Adjusters are also responsible for oversight, even if some aspects of the investigation are delegated. Question 15. Missouri automobile insurance minimums. What are the minimum liability coverage limits required by Missouri law for an auto insurance policy? A. $25,000 per person for bodily injury, $50,000 per accident for bodily injury, and $10,000 for property damage. B. $15,000 per person for bodily injury, $30,000 per accident for bodily injury, and $10,000 for property damage. C. $50,000 per person for bodily injury, $100,000 per accident for bodily injury, and $25,000 for property damage. D. $30,000 per person for bodily injury, $60,000 per accident for bodily injury, and $20,000 for property damage. Answer: A. $25,000 per person for bodily injury, $50,000 per accident for bodily injury, and $10,000 for property damage. Explanation: Missouri law mandates a minimum of $25,000 per person and $50,000 per accident for bodily injury liability, as well as $10,000 for property damage liability. These limits ensure that insured drivers have sufficient coverage to compensate others in case of an accident. Question 16. Umbrella policies. An insured in Missouri has an umbrella policy with a $1 million limit. This policy is designed to provide which of the following: A. Coverage only for damage to the insured's property. B. Additional liability coverage above primary insurance limits. C. Replacement cost coverage for personal belongings. D. Guaranteed payment for any type of claim. Answer: B. Additional liability coverage above primary insurance limits. Explanation: umbrella policies offer liability protection beyond the limits of primary insurance policies, such as auto or homeowners insurance. They cover excess liability claims and do not provide property coverage or guarantee payment for every claim. Instead, they activate when the underlying policy limits are exhausted. Question 17. Flood insurance requirements. Under the National Flood Insurance Program, NFIP, which of the following statements is true regarding flood insurance in Missouri? A. It is automatically included in standard homeowners insurance policies. B. It must be purchased separately and is mandatory for properties in high-risk flood zones with federally backed mortgages. C. It covers water damage from burst pipes inside the home. D. It provides unlimited coverage for property damage due to floods. Answer: B. It must be purchased separately and is mandatory for properties in high-risk flood zones with federally backed mortgages. Explanation: flood insurance is not included in standard homeowners policies and must be bought separately. Under the NFIP, properties in high-risk flood areas with federally backed mortgages are required to carry flood insurance. It provides coverage for flood-related damage up to policy limits but excludes internal water damage like burst pipes. Question 18. Claims payment timeframe. Under Missouri law, how long does an insurer typically have to settle a claim after receiving satisfactory proof of loss? A. 15 days. B. 30 days. C. 60 days. D. 90 days. Answer: C. 60 days. Explanation: Missouri law generally allows insurers up to 60 days to settle a claim after receiving proof of loss, although this may vary depending on policy terms. Prompt payment regulations help ensure that claimants receive timely compensation following a loss. Question 19. Loss settlement clauses. In Missouri, a homeowner's policy has a replacement cost loss settlement clause. If an insured's roof is damaged in a hailstorm, how would the settlement typically be calculated? A. Based on the depreciated value of the roof at the time of loss. B. Based on the actual cash value minus deductible. C. Based on the full replacement cost, subject to deductible. D. Based on the average cost of roofing materials. Answer C. Based on the full replacement cost, subject to deductible. Explanation: a replacement cost settlement clause ensures that damages are compensated based on the cost of replacing the damaged property without deduction for depreciation, subject to any applicable deductible. This approach provides the insured with sufficient funds to repair or replace the roof with new materials. Question 20. Missouri Fair Claims Settlement Practices Act. Which of the following is considered an unfair claims practice under Missouri's Fair Claims Settlement Practices Act? A. Promptly responding to all policyholder inquiries. B. Failing to acknowledge and act upon a claim within a reasonable time. C. Providing regular updates to the claimant on claim status. D. Conducting a thorough investigation of all claims. Answer: B. Failing to acknowledge and act upon a claim within a reasonable time. Explanation: Missouri's Fair Claims Settlement Practices Act mandates that insurers acknowledge and act on claims within a reasonable time. Failure to do so is an unfair claims practice and may result in penalties for the insurer. The Act promotes fair and transparent handling of claims to protect policyholders' rights. Question 21. Personal auto policy. Comprehensive coverage. A Missouri resident's car is damaged when a tree falls on it during a storm. Which part of a personal auto policy PAP would cover the damages? A. Collision coverage. B. Medical payments coverage. C. Comprehensive coverage. D. Liability coverage. Answer: C. Comprehensive coverage. Explanation: comprehensive coverage under personal auto policy covers damages caused by events other than a collision, such as theft, vandalism, or weather-related incidents. Collision coverage only applies when the insured vehicle collides with another object. Question 22. Claims reserves. Why is it essential for an adjuster to establish a claims reserve when handling a new claim in Missouri? A. To ensure the claim will be denied. B. To maintain accurate financial records for potential claim costs. C. To minimize the insured's benefits. D. To reduce the adjuster's workload. Answer: B. To maintain accurate financial records for potential claim costs. Explanation: establishing a claims reserve is necessary to estimate the financial resources needed to settle the claim. This practice helps insurers prepare for future claim payouts and ensures regulatory compliance. Question 23. Business Owners Policy BOP. Loss of income. A small business in Missouri is temporarily closed after a fire, resulting in lost income. What part of the Business Owners Policy BOP would cover the income lost during the closure? A. Property coverage. B. Liability coverage. C. Loss of income coverage. D. Equipment breakdown coverage. Answer: C. Loss of income coverage. Explanation: loss of income or business interruption coverage in a BOP reimburses the insured for lost income when the business is temporarily closed due to a covered event, such as a fire. Property coverage handles physical damage, while liability and equipment breakdown coverage address other risks. Question 24. Missouri Automobile Insurance. Uninsured motorist coverage. Under Missouri law, uninsured motorist coverage is required in auto insurance policies. This coverage is designed to provide compensation for which of the following? A. Damages caused by underinsured drivers. B. Physical damage to the insured's vehicle in all circumstances. C. Injuries to the insured when struck by an uninsured driver. D. Any damages caused by natural disasters. Answer: C. Injuries to the insured when struck by an uninsured driver. Explanation: uninsured motorist coverage in Missouri compensates the insured for injuries sustained in an accident caused by an uninsured driver. This coverage does not pay for physical damage to the vehicle or damage from natural disasters. Question 25. Claims adjuster ethics. Which of the following practices would be considered unethical and possibly illegal for a claims adjuster in Missouri? A. Promptly responding to all claimant inquiries. B. Offering a lower settlement without a valid reason. C. Thoroughly investigating each claim. D. Documenting all claims handling activities. Answer: B. Offering a lower settlement without a valid reason. Explanation: offering an unjustifiably low settlement is unethical and can be considered a violation of fair claims practices. Adjusters are expected to act in good faith and provide reasonable settlements based on claim evaluations. Question 26. Subrogation rights. If an insurance company in Missouri pays out a claim for damages caused by a third party, what is the term for the insurer's right to recover those costs from the responsible party? A. Contribution. B. Indemnity. C. Subrogation. D. Waiver of liability. Answer: C. Subrogation. Explanation: Subrogation allows the insurer to seek reimbursement from the party responsible for the loss after paying the insured. This helps the insurer recover expenses and ensures the responsible party bears the financial responsibility. Question 27. Missouri Property and Casualty Guarantee Association. What is the primary role of the Missouri Property and Casualty Insurance Guarantee Association? A. To provide legal defense for policyholders. B. To offer policy discounts for eligible members. C. To pay claims if an insurance company becomes insolvent. D. To regulate insurance company rates. Answer: C. To pay claims if an insurance company becomes insolvent. Explanation: the Missouri Property and Casualty Insurance Guarantee Association exists to protect policyholders by covering claims if an insurer goes bankrupt, ensuring that valid claims are paid even when the insurance provider cannot fulfill its obligations. Question 20. Dwelling policy. Extended coverage. A Missouri homeowner purchases extended coverage on their dwelling policy to include windstorm damage. Which of the following events would now be covered? A. Damage from an earthquake. B. Damage from a fire. C. Damage from a hurricane-related windstorm. D. Flood damage. Answer: C. Damage from a hurricane-related windstorm. Explanation: extended coverage endorsements on a dwelling policy can include windstorm damage, covering events like hurricanes. Earthquake and flood damage are typically excluded unless specific additional endorsements are purchased. Question 29. Workers' compensation. Independent contractor. An independent contractor in Missouri is injured while working on a project. Under what conditions would this individual typically be covered by the employer's workers' compensation policy? A. If the contractor was hired full-time. B. If the contractor is considered an employee. C. If the injury occurred on the employer's property. D. Independent contractors are always covered by workers' compensation policies. Answer: B. If the contractor is considered an employee. Explanation: generally, independent contractors are not covered by an employer's workers' compensation policy unless they are classified as employees under specific conditions. Missouri workers' compensation coverage usually applies to employees rather than independent contractors. Question 30. Adjuster licensing requirements in Missouri. To maintain a valid adjuster's license in Missouri, what must an adjuster do regarding continuing education? A. Complete 12 hours of continuing education every 2 years. B. Complete 16 hours of continuing education every year. C. Complete 16 hours of continuing education every 2 years. D. Complete 12 hours of continuing education every year. Answer: C. Complete 16 hours of continuing education every 2 years. Explanation: Missouri requires licensed adjusters to complete 16 hours of continuing education every 2 years to keep their license active. Continuing education ensures that adjusters remain knowledgeable about industry changes and current regulations.